You didn't lose them because you changed. You didn't lose them because you became cold. You didn't lose them because you stopped caring. You lost them when you started respecting yourself. And that truth is hard to accept. Because for a long time, your value to them came from what you tolerated. How much you forgave. How much you explained. How much you lowered yourself just to keep peace. The moment you stopped doing that, everything shifted. This video is not about bitterness. It is not about revenge. It is not about becoming heartless. This is about understanding why self-respect costs you certain people, and why that loss is not a failure, but proof of growth. Let's begin. At first, when you lacked boundaries, people felt comfortable around you. Not because they loved you deeply, but because you were predictable. You replied fast. You always made time. You excused their disrespect. You stayed silent when something hurt you. They knew you would stay, no matter how little effort they gave. And you called that loyalty. But Stoicism calls it imbalance. Marcus Aurelius said, "Respect yourself enough to walk away from anything that no longer serves you." The moment you started saying no. The moment you stopped chasing, the moment you chose dignity over desperation. You became unfamiliar to them. And unfamiliar people make others uncomfortable. When you began respecting yourself, you stopped over-explaining. You stopped begging for clarity. You stopped proving your worth. You realized something powerful: people who truly value you do not require you to abandon yourself. So when you withdrew your energy, they didn't ask, "Did I hurt you?" They asked, "Why aren't you useful anymore?" That tells you everything. Some people don't lose you because you are wrong. They lose you because you are no longer easy to control. Stoicism teaches that attachment reveals character, not love. When someone only stays while you overgive, overcompromise, and overtolerate, they were never attached to you. They were attached to access. Self-respect removes access. And access loss feels like rejection to those who benefited from you. That's why they distance themselves. That's why they accuse you of changing. That's why they call you cold, arrogant, or selfish. But ask yourself this honestly: were you peaceful before? Were you respected before? Were you valued, or merely tolerated? Growth often looks like loss from the outside. When you respected yourself, you stopped responding immediately. You stopped fixing what they broke. You stopped accepting half-effort disguised as affection. You stopped chasing closure. And here's the Stoic truth: people who need you to stay small will always resent your strength. Self-respect exposes intentions. Those who cared for you will adjust. Those who used you will leave. Both outcomes are clarity. Epictetus said, "If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit." Self-respect is when you stop letting others provoke you into abandoning your standards. You didn't become distant. You became disciplined. You didn't become heartless. You became selective. You didn't lose empathy. You learned where empathy should end. And yes, it feels lonely. Because when you stop entertaining nonsense, there is silence. But Stoicism never promised comfort. It promised freedom. Freedom from needing validation. Freedom from chasing approval. Freedom from explaining your worth to people who already decided how little to give you. You lost them when you started respecting yourself because they benefited from your self-disrespect. Let that sink in. If your self-worth makes someone uncomfortable, they were comfortable with you being less. And that is not love. Stoics believe that peace comes from alignment. Alignment between your values and your actions. Before, you were misaligned. You wanted respect but accepted disrespect. You wanted honesty but tolerated confusion. You wanted effort but rewarded indifference. Now, you no longer do. That is why some people vanished. Not because you are unlovable, but because you are no longer available for misuse. Self-respect is quiet. It doesn't argue. It doesn't explain. It doesn't chase. It simply steps back. And when you step back, you see clearly. You see who reaches out, and who doesn't. You see who values you, and who valued convenience. You see who respects boundaries, and who resents them. This is not loss. This is filtration. The Stoics understood that not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Your time is limited. Your energy is finite. Your attention is valuable. Wasting it on people who only show up when you are bending is self-betrayal. And self-betrayal is more painful than loneliness. So if you lost people when you started respecting yourself, good. It means you are no longer negotiating your worth. It means you are no longer afraid of being misunderstood. It means you are choosing inner peace over external approval. And that is strength. Not loud strength. Not aggressive strength. Quiet, unshakable strength. Remember this: anyone who truly belongs in your life will never require you to abandon yourself to keep them. If they leave when you stand tall, they were never meant to walk beside you. They were only comfortable when you were kneeling. Choose self-respect. Even if it costs you people. Because the right ones don't disappear when you value yourself. They recognize you. And they stay.